We just arrived back from our environmental history trip, the Museum of History on Mars. We're learning about these interesting forms of transportation used by humanity, called racks.
Scientists believe that these racks were a form of human transportation throughout the 20th and 21st century. They also believe that these racks were a major contributor to Earth's inevitable downfall and humanity moving to Mars. Complex vehicles that were driven by combustion engines and powered by diesel and gasoline, and later, the not as popular car was introduced called the electric car, powered by battery engines. They claimed that they were going to reduce carbon emissions and essentially were going to save the world. However, they were heavily flawed and had many technical issues. There are records that state that there were over 1 billion cars on the road the year 2020 and over 2 billion people driving them.
There were many different types and styles of cars. Trucks were often owned by people who lived in the country or needed to transport large goods from place to place. Men would also buy trucks in the city to compensate for other things. SUVs, or sports utility vehicles, were a smaller and more fuel-efficient version of a truck, but larger and safer than racks. Racks were by far the most popular and ample vehicles on the road. They came in many shapes, sizes, and designs. Some were more popular than others, looked fancier than others, and more expensive. They were convenient for people who lived in the city because of their small size and for people who needed a quick way to get from point A to point B and didn't want to take public transport. Excavation of planet Earth has led us to find a few of these, but we're not sure their purpose. Minivans provide lots of space for family units to get from point A to point B.
To find out more about racks and what they would do and why people drove them, we decided to invite University of Mars professor Dr. Richard Hertz.
After talking to Richard, we've decided to recreate some of the different types of drivers that he was talking about. A huge special thanks to Richard for lending us a rack prototype so we can make these videos as accurate as possible. I am joined now by Professor of Transportation Richard Hertz.
Please, call me Dick.
So Mr. Hertz, what's your main focus of study in human transportation?
My main focus that my team and I are working on is the relation between CO2 emissions and the vehicles that humans drove back in the 20th and 21st century.
Do you know the estimate number of vehicles that were on the road in the year between 2015 and 2020 before the atmosphere started going downhill on Earth?
Yes, my team and I have first came up with a number of 500 million cars, but now we believe it's around 1 billion.
In our research, we saw that age 16 is when humans were first allowed to drive. Is there any particular reason for that age, or what changes in the brain that lets humans drive at 16 years old?
Well, we came to that conclusion that age 16 was the age that you were first able to drive out in Nasrima, where we were researching that country. We believe that because we found old fossilized cards of saying their ages were 16, and those were beginner license. So we believe that the reason why 16 was the age is because even us today we consider that age as young adults, and we believe that their maturity levels were ready to become drivers.
For the exhibit on different types of drivers, do you have any recollection of why that is, or examples of different types of drivers?
Yes. So our first type of driver that we were researching is the distracted driver.
What the hell?
I can't even make this up right now. I was just driving like completely safe, and I think I just hit someone. You okay?
Then after we have the backseat drivers.
It's up there. Yo, wait! Stop sign, man!
It's literally like a kilometer up the road.
No, start stopping, man. Start stopping. Thank you.
And after that, we have the cautious drivers.
Dude, everyone's passing us. You're literally going 50 and 80 right now.
Okay, you can never be too safe while driving.
Dude, the stop sign's way up there.
Currently, our team is still researching the mythical soccer moms that we see in very, very many online popular, platforms. But we'll get back to you on that one.
Thank you, Richard.
The tradition of driving in Nasrima begins when the person turns 16 years of age. They do this by getting their first license called the G1.
To obtain the G1, they must take a written test. The G1 grants them access to practice driving with many restrictions, including a parent or guardian or someone with a full G license in the vehicle.
The second step to the tradition is getting what you call a G2 license. This allows the person to have more freedom, but still with some restrictions.
Finally, after a year to 4 years with the G2, you're required to go take your G test to gain access to all rules of the road.
The G license really appeals to people because it allows people to have complete freedom and complete control over their vehicle.
Racks were invented in 1885, but slowly gained popularity before picking up in the mid-20th century.
After quickly picking up popularity in the mid-20th century, people saw the efficiency that cars could bring to their lives, from getting point A to point B. This is Dick Hertz, and thanks for watching.